All right, ladies and gentlemen, after a quick little bit of a break we are back for the third and final series of the evening. It is, of course, ForLove versus Tongfu here for the Fengyun tournament. Another best of three for us here on Beyond the Summit. Really excited to bring it to you. Once again, my name is Malt. With me tonight is Baseskip. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, doing very well. Looking forward to our final series, as you said, and should be a good one. ForLove versus Tongfu. I mean, Tongfu obviously coming in as the favorites, but I do think that ForLove stand a chance.
Yeah, they really do. ForLove's a team that's been around for a while. They've had some decent tournament results, but Tongfu, they've had actually a bit of trouble themselves in the past couple of days. They went down 3-0 up against LGD, and even Joe has, considered retiring. And of course, this is a man that people have called a burden in the past. I'm not going to name any names, but I think we all know who that's talking about. So we'll see if Joe can get his play together. I know he's felt very, emotional about his play right now. He's not too happy with how he's done, but they can easily turn this around. They have a very strong lineup. I mean, you're talking about ZSMJ, the legend. Kabu's a great offlaner. I've seen San Shang play very effectively as well. So we'll see if they can get this game going their way.
Yeah, I think the one thing for Joe is that his drafting just hasn't really adapted that well to the recent version, and I think that's been a lot of the problem for Tongfu in terms of their results of late. I mean, like you said, they've got some very solid players. That SMJ is really coming into his own as a support player since he sort of returned and made this switch. And yeah, there's nobody on Tongfu that you could point to and say this guy doesn't deserve to be on the team. So yeah, hopefully they can just find a little bit of confidence, maybe find some drafts that work for them, and well, hopefully they'll just show us some good Dota in this series.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I really hope they pick something nice, and it starts out again like we've seen it so often. It's going to be that clockwork pick coming out from, of course, Tongfu. The Slark is still available, which they've played to great extent. Obviously, unfortunately, they lost to LGD with it, but it's going to be Rubik Weaver for ForLove, and Rubik I don't mind. We've seen a lot of that. We don't even need to go and talk about it because it's Rubik, and he's a very good hero. Weaver, though, is something that has fallen off a little bit, but still a strong hero. Then again, up against a Clockwork might be a difficult matchup for him.
Yeah, so ForLove immediately, they can't really have the Weaver as a 1v1 hero. I mean, off-lane 1v1s and things like that are less of a thing now that tri-lanes are also less of a thing. But Tongfu, they see the Weaver, they've got a plan in mind, immediately pick up the Nyx Assassin. So they do have somebody to already put some pressure on him.
Yeah, and I think the Nyx Assassin is the perfect pickup here. Weaver, of course, if he gets Vendetta ganked, that would be kind of detrimental to his life. So we'll see if he can survive early on in this game. The draft is still going, though, and with the Rubik and the Weaver, we'll see what ForLove want to do with their other support. There's a couple of supports that have already been taken out. Crystal Maiden is still available, which would be a nice support, but also could go for Tongfu, as that'd be good for them to lock down. Of course, San Shang would very much like to have that Visage, but it's not available to him. The game that he did play up against LGD, he had many great familiar stuns. Sadly, he cannot pick that up, as you can see. Joe is going to go ahead and ban out that Bristleback right now, realizing he doesn't want that to go there, the other way for ForLove. That's just too much of an annoying hero. Something important to notice, Slark has not been banned out yet, and Tongfu do value that hero, at least they did value that hero very highly in their matchup against LGD. So they're going to get the Luna ban coming up for ForLove, and another pick is going to go ForLove's way on top of that. And we'll see what they want to go for here with their next pick. And I'm assuming it may be something like that CM, but they might go for something that's more of a core hero.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I think they were maybe angling for the Bristleback a little bit with the Lifestealer ban, just because they already have a Weaver. Like, Lifestealer is not a hero, I think, that fits amazingly well into Tongfu's lineup. That would be their third melee hero, and it's just a poor hero to have against Weaver, but it is one of the good. Well, it's a good way to deal with the Bristleback. So I think a good ban from Joe there, getting rid of it. But ForLove, they just managed to get their hands on the Night Stalker instead. So similar kind of idea, very face rushy kind of hero, and not something that we've seen that much of late, but we did just see it the other day, I believe.
Yep.
In what was that?
MVP
I can't remember the match
LGD,
off the top of my head.
I think it was, and March played in the offlane Night Stalker.
Oh, yeah.
And I was going to talk about that because I like the Night Stalker, but I prefer it in that mid lane because that capacity, you're able to get levels, you're able to be more effective with your ganks. I think there might have been another game, but it might have been for the WPC Ace League that happened. I'm not sure. I don't think we saw one yesterday other than March playing it. Still, though, what's also important to know is they picked up Night Stalker, and I feel like Tongfu could have gone for that hero against Weaver, because you have that silence. It's so good at taking Weaver down early on, but instead they pick it up themselves so that Tongfu can't grab it. But Tongfu go for two very good support heroes in the Chen and the Crystal Maiden, so already a good draft for them starting out here. Both sides, I like drafts. I like their drafts as of right now. So
Tongfu are a little bit lacking in the late game department right now, I would say. They've got probably a mid-nix, an off-lane clock, so whoever their carry is going to be, I guess, needs to be equipped to deal with this in the late game if it does come down to it. I mean, Windrunner, whether or not she's going to be a support, she's still going to scale all right into the late game. Netstalker, not the best late gamer, but you still need someone with a little bit of a punch to deal with the Weaver if this goes late. And yeah, ForLove just going to be getting rid of the Gyrocopter, trying to remove those 1v5 heroes from the pool if they can.
Yeah, and I agree with you. They do need to go for something that does have a little bit of a late game potential. Whatever they want to pick up, though, we'll see. And I was going to say the Gyrocopter, actually, but ForLove did take that out of the pool with their last ban. And you know, I would say Slark, but if not, they had the Night Stalker. I mean, if it weren't for the Night Stalker here, I might say Slark, but the Night Stalker, I think, does an effective job of taking the Slark down because of that long duration silence at nighttime. So Slark can't gank as effectively. He's got to be a little bit more cautious around the map with the Night Stalker roaming in. He can't just run in like we saw in, of course, the first game of the last time around. I forget what game it was we saw today, but that Slark did work. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
okay.
This is a very interesting pickup coming out. Yep, the Lone Druid is going to go for Tongfu. He does have that late game potential, and that is somebody that can do the job there. And Joe's going to pick him up, and yeah.
I was anticipating maybe like your safe lane Pugna, because I mean obviously Tongfu, the option is either be prepared for late game or just ignore it completely and end the game in 15-20 minutes. So I was anticipating the Pugna pickup, and I was about to suggest it, but no, Tongfu go for something, I guess, a little bit more old school. They pick up the Lone Druid, and it's not a hero that we've seen a whole lot of recently. So we'll see how it goes. It's definitely one of Joe's, one of his signature heroes, I would say.
I'm not a big fan of the Lone Druid, especially now. I wasn't a fan before, but especially now when it takes longer, to get up and running, and you don't have that armlet choice like you used to have. Especially since that the game is revolved around having early fights and taking early towers, and just being aggressive really. And I don't think the Lone Druid Spirit Bear does that. I mean, you try to get farm on him, but people are going to look to gank him as much as possible. It's important. It's just as important to shut him down as it is any other carry. So with this pickup, Joe, it's an either hit or miss scenario here. I don't mind it considering it's the first game in a best-of-3 series. We'll see how it does go for them. Sansheng is going to lead the way down here in the bottom lane. We'll see ForLove go ahead and throw up a ward here, and just, of course, it's actually right on this magic bush, so it's going to go ahead and block both camps here. And so we'll see them maybe counter ward it, and it looks like there might be an engagement right now. Mu getting caught out of position. No, the Burrow Strike goes on Sansheng. The telekinesis up, of course, Power Shot already went. The cogs are there. Sansheng is going to go down. That is first blood going in for Pretty Haw. He's going to take that kill on the Wind Ranger. They're going to back off now. Secure in what they've accomplished. The Burrow Strike Sand King actually did go down very low, but he actually didn't die, so he will survive. They'll take that first blood, and it looks like Mu got caught out of position, and the rest of the heroes got clumped up for Tongfu.
Yeah, really nice little start to this game for ForLove, and looks like, are they even? No, okay. Are they considering going aggressive? Pretty Haw's got some boots and a ringer protection up, so it does kind of look like maybe your tri-lane farming Windrunner. Sand King's just going to suicide to Ro16 so that he can get a free trip back to base.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. And they're going to actually just leave Yim down here, and then the solo offlane Weaver, and the defensive try coming out now, and, well, defensive duel with, of course, ZSMJ in the jungle. They should know that...
He's not solo, he's got the supports, apparently.
Oh, they actually did roam down. They looked like they were going up top. I spoke too soon. My apologies, everyone. But, yeah, so Stan, as well as 5400 will be down here. Before any other action happens, though, let's try to get some introductions real quick. So, for ForLove, we've got Yim. He'll be on the Weaver. 5400 on the Rubik. Stan will be on the Sand King. Hold on, I hope they don't go for a kill here. Okay, looks like not. So I'm going to go mid and hopefully no action happens. Mid, we have Fan will be on the Night Stalker in that mid lane. In the top lane, we'll have Pretty Haw on the Wind Ranger taking an Impale, but should be fine.
And very quickly on Tongfu, it's Kabu handling the Nyx Assassin, Mu on mid on the Clockwork. The SMJ is going to be on his Chen. Getting lifted on bottom lane is Zhou. He's going to get Burrow Struck as well, so it looks like this is going to be another kill for ForLove. They're trying to turn it around on the 5400. He does end up dropping. And finally we have Sansheng running away on Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, so with all of the action happening, it was a one-for-one trade right there. Of course, they get the kill on Zhou, and that's a huge pickup for ForLove. I mean, just stop him from farming and get a kill going to your Weaver, or at least some assist gold or some assist experience, excuse me. So whatever you can get, really, is fine for Yim. And honestly, he is actually going to get got on. The Sensor Khan was coming in looking for a stomp, but he played that very well, backing right off. Yeah, that was...
Phenol.
Yeah, Phenol, please. I don't know what that was about. That was like a BM pause from a spectator. I didn't know spectators could pause, first of all.
You can.
You can? Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I should do that
You
more
could
in
right now if you wanted to.
Well, I'm not going to do that.
I wouldn't.
No.
I wouldn't, but yeah.
Listen, if this was an NEL game, I'd be pausing all day if I had known that. So I'm apparently not a very good caster, not knowing some of the most, important things. Still, though, I mean... They went for that kill there. You saw them getting in position, and actually Yim just backed right off with his Shikuchi. So that's how it's going to be, I feel like. They do have the Sentry Ward down to the ground. So they might be able to catch Yim out of position if this wave gets pushed up here. But still, so far, the Tri-Lane now being aggressive for ForLove. They're going on Zhou. The telekinesis is up. The Shikuchi damage, the right click, the Fade Bolt grabbing the kill. And Zhou has died twice now in the past 2 minutes. So we're seeing Sansheng Frostbite, Stan Burrow Strike. That's the kill. That's what we were waiting for. Now Stan taking tower damage. Looks like he will go down to the tower. See him getting that kill in the end. But still a nice trade going through, and that's just more experience that's going to Yim with how aggressive they've been this far in the early game.
Yeah, and I think this is 100% the reason that we don't see quite so much Lone Druid anymore. And I think Tongfu could have, they really could have seen this happening. The fact that the Lone Druid could be aggressively trialing against. And he's not a hero that... The problem with the Lone Druid is, one, as you mentioned, he's only really got one build anymore. It's Midas into Radiance. And the second problem is that he only really has one lane, which is kind of solo safe. And with aggressive tri-lanes not being as good as they used to be anymore, you can't often make that, you can't force that situation for the Lone Druid. And there's no bear for Zhou for a whole minute here, so he's in really big trouble.
He's very sad right now, to say the least. But something we haven't looked at was, of course, any of the other lanes as of right now. We haven't seen Mu, how he's doing mid, and it looks like he is doing fairly well with 15 last hits. Fen's only on, 12.
Two-man burst strike bottom lane. Net goes out, 5400. Looks like he might end up dropping to right click. He's at SMJ, but it's a 2-for-1 trade.
Yeah, it might even be 3-for-1. They're all said and done here. Stan has a burrow strike. He's about to use it.
Oh, that creep!
Yeah, he blocked him in. Oh my god, poor the SMJ. I think he would have gone down regardless, but the Sand King grabbing with a kill, and that's 3-for-1. This tri-lane is absolutely going horrid for Tongfu. And if it's any indication of how the game is going to go, ForLove have a drastic lead now, and well, the good thing is Mu, like I said, is getting some farm in that mid lane. Up in the top lane, I think the Nyx Assassin's doing okay. He's got 10 last hits, but the Wind Ranger's sitting on 22. So 2 lanes going the way of ForLove, 2 lanes that really shouldn't be, and then a lane in the mid, which is, it's sort of even. Fan's not doing too bad. It is the first night time. He's got boots in a bottle. Maybe looking for a gank in the Nyx Assassin. This is the timing for the Night Stalker. Kabu's got to be careful. He may know that they're missing from mid. He's just going to, back right off. He wasn't, up at the creep wave trying to last hit, so smart play from Kabu being there. Down bottom, look at where Zhou is right now. They were actually sitting mid trying to find a gank. Instead, they leave Zhou all alone, and this is another death. There's a TP coming in. It looks like Burrow Strike actually on the bear, and maybe they're going to go for Sansheng instead. They'll grab that kill, and Zhou is just like, well, thank God it isn't me.
Yeah, fortunately he managed to dodge out of the way of the swarm. Otherwise, they would have known where he was and probably would have been able to pick up that kill. But ForLove now doubling the kills of Tongfu. So SMJ is doing his best to head over to the tri-lane and help out whenever possible, but it's really difficult for the Chen. And I don't think he's had the best luck in terms of creeps either. So I'm not sure what Tongfu do. ForLove can just keep this tri-lane here. As you said, both of their other lanes are doing just fine. Fan is trading farm against Mu, and Pretty Haw is absolutely crushing Kabu. So maybe we can see the Clockwork or the Nyx Assassin move away from their lane down to bot soon. But otherwise, things are just going to continue going exactly the same way.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the scarier thing to think about is that Fan. This is nighttime. but it's not the timing just yet. Can you imagine when he starts roaming to gank, how much they're going to do down in this bottom lane? They're doing it right now, but you know they're going to see that Fan is rotating through. They're going to expect something's happening. The 6-minute rune will go. It is up in the top rune spot. You can see Moose spotted out Fan down there. So now you can see Tongfu probably being a bit more passive down in this bottom lane. Maybe get back towards the tower. But this does mean that Yim gets so much room to farm. He's got 21 last hits, and he's actually not too far ahead of the Lone Druid, but that doesn't matter when you've got 2 kills, and Joe has died 3 times. So they will telekinesis the bear. They're going to work on him. It's very tanky, Burrow Strike as well. I'm not sure if there's enough damage here. There's the Night Stalker. With the Night Stalker, it's enough damage. 300 gold going the way of Fan there. So another nice pickup. Actually, Wind Ranger is going to head back home, it looks like, and has, of course, the Ring of Basilius and Ring of Regen. And if I wasn't crazy, I'd say that's a Vlad's, but no, it's probably going to be a mech. And Urn is actually going to go out down in the bottom lane. So Fan's Urn is already done, which is nicely timed at the first night time. So you could see Moose and Tongfu's just sitting here, maybe looking to try to get something going, but it's going to be a tough fight for them.
And Cabo actually used his Vendetta top to drive Pretty Hot out of the lane, so he's not going to have that ready to go for bot. It's only 13 seconds on cooldown here, so maybe, but ForLove, they're like, what, 4 heroes are off the map suspiciously. Let's just back away from bottom lane and not risk anything. And looks like Tongfu might have just smoked on top of a ward. There was a lot of pinging going on.
Yeah, they might have seen that. So we'll expect to see ForLove playing passively. I mean, yeah, look at where Fan is under this tower now. You can see that he's just going to sit back, void the last hit, and make sure that he doesn't get ganked here in this mid lane. So this has just been the play style coming out from ForLove. Play passively when you need to, aggressively when you can grab the kills. And in fact, they know somebody's up on the high ground. I feel like hook shot's going to go in, but now there's backup coming in from ForLove here. Move. Shackle shot. He is going to fall. Look at the counter initiation. The Impale does come through. Fan in a bit of trouble. He's still tanky enough to survive. Silence up on Kabu. Void may be going if he gets enough mana, and will to do the last hit there on the Nyx Assassin. 2 down now for Tongfu. Great turnaround. They're not done yet. Burrow Strike comes through. The power shot snipe from the Wind Ranger to grab a 3rd kill in that engagement.
Oh, that's... Man, if you're Tongfu right now, you are just reeling. The expectation was that at least you were going to get the 1 kill on mid, but ForLove, they've just been playing better Dota. They've been proactive in terms of the warding. They spotted the smoke. And unfortunately, again, Joe is still pretty much just a one-trick pony on this Lone Druid. He's going to keep farming for the next 10 minutes if he can, and that means that the rest of his team has to fend off ForLove 4v5, which is a bit of a big ask.
Well, I mean, he's not done yet. That's the thing, and he's gotten killed a lot. And even though it seems very, desperate for Tongfu right now, he's close to a Midas, at least a Midas recipe, which is something to get you started towards that later stage of the game. And if they can hold off right now, if they can hold off from getting engaged on, if they can hold off from any bad fights, maybe they get back into this. But for ForLove right now, they need to keep the pressure on. They know that it's daytime right now, so they have a little bit of a respite to farm for Fan. He can use his darkness once he skills it up. He hasn't yet. And you look at what Weaver's doing now. He's going to be going for seemingly a Lincoln Sphere. And
not again. Another smoke on top of a ward. Poor Tongfu.
Yep. That ward was right there. They should have caught them out. At least the...
Sorry, Mud. I cut you off.
No, it's okay. No, I expect that from my co-caster when there's things happening. I actually prefer it, so appreciated. And they're actually going to roam up here into the top jungle, it looks like. And Yim may be caught out for the first time in the game. They're going to have the Vendetta and the Impale right after to lock him down. And now they're actually splitting up right now with the Vendetta from Kabu, looking and scouting things out. So the smoke actually doesn't accomplish anything. Darkness does go, and they're going to try to find Moo here. So as the smoke goes, Moo falls, it looks like, with one more Void to get the kill there. Actually, they stole Flare, doing some damage. Night Stalker does get that kill regardless with his right click. So he will back off now, and another kill going the way of ForLove, despite them smoking for Tongfu.
And they'd like to kill Yim top, but not sure if they're going to be able to. And yeah, Senching already forced the TP bottom lane as Joe gets jumped.
So, I mean, they're just trying to get... Joe just wants room. Any room to farm would be great. And he's barely getting it now. He has only 37 last hits, which isn't bad, but Yim has 53, so not only is Yim keeping pace, he's setting the pace himself. with 200 gold and a perseverance in the bank. TP down bottom. Stan is in here. Power shot onto 2. Stan, Vendetta up, Frostbitten. He's the first to die. Everyone's rather low. You can see the Rubik's way out of position. 5400 gets impaled. That's exactly what Tongfu needed. Those TP rotations were on point. Now Zhou picks up his Midas at 1050. It's the start of something special for Tongfu, I feel like.
Yeah, the one thing that's worth talking about is the fact that ForLove have a huge lead, but no towers taken. So, yeah, I definitely wouldn't count Tongfu out of this just yet. And I think I think ForLove have maybe been a little bit too focused on dealing with the Lone Druid. You locked him out of the game early on. Take the 4v5 advantage and just restrict Tongfu's map control, which they didn't manage to do at all. And now Tongfu are actually doing a little bit of 5-manning of their own. I'm going to start grabbing some tower gold if at all possible.
Yeah, they are going to get pushed back for now. Tongfu doesn't want to fight into this, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them actually go and try to defend the other towers. The Shackle Shot on the Bear, it's going to get lifted as well. Stan maybe looking to Burrow Strike and will. Fade Bolt, not enough damage to take it down. They committed a lot of mana for that kill on the Bear, and they couldn't get it. So that's going to be Tongfu making their way to the mid lane. Fan getting TP'd on right now, and maybe an Impale as well. He's going to take that damage and maybe be in some trouble. He will go ahead and silence Kabu. Moo's going to back off. They don't want to try to commit to that fight. They will deny the tower nicely, but up in the top lane, that's Yim taking another tower. That's a 2 tier 1s gone in the span of about 2 seconds of each other, so.
Yeah, and looks like ForLove realized, okay, maybe that dive on the tier 1 bot was a little bit of a mistake. They've got the mech now finished up on the Wind Ranger, just needs to get that delivered, and this is exactly what they need to be doing. Split push with the Weaver, and just continue to use the rest of their heroes to restrict Tongfu's map control. And we're just about to head into the next night as well, so this is a really big moment for ForLove to keep the pressure on.
Yep, and now Fan, who has that nighttime up for himself, he's got Darkness ready to go, he's got an Ogre Club. They're ready to start 5-manning, or at least looking for kills across the map. You can see they're going for a tier 1 tower bottom. And Tongfu, you can see how low they're playing. You see where they're at, Sansheng and Kabu, maybe just looking to roam to another lane, but for now, they have only a very little amount of vision on the map. It's all defensive vision as well. This Radiant Ward was just placed, and they will spot out any sort of ganks that come through, except for the fact that they're smoked up now. So they think that they might be safe here. You can see that mid lane is Yim. They might look for a kill there, but they see there's a ward here for the Dire team. They know exactly where everyone is for Tongfu. They're going to roam right in there. Flare did go. Stan's leading the way. He's got Burrow Strike to go for it. And ZSMJ may be the target and will be the Burrow Strike. This should be an easy kill. Void, the power shot to clean it all up. And now more damage going Kabu. He's silenced up. The hook shot, or excuse me, the shackle shot went. Kabu's still alive. Void is up in 1 second. Oh, but the spike carapace just in time. The double impale. Kabu, power shot though comes through pretty hot with a snipe. And the double kill. Now the shockwave coming out, but the mech is up and ready to go. ForLove take 2 and looking maybe to push into a tier 2 or at least give more room for Yim to farm.
Yeah, and Joe for the Midas, it's 1.2k gold at the moment, but I don't know if he's going to be able to finish a Radiance this game. And the question is as well, even if he gets the Radiance, does that win the game for Tongfu? Because that's the moment where the Lone Druid is going to be at his absolute peak. Every minute after that, you know, ForLove are only going to get tankier, the Radiance burn is going to matter less, and the Radiance is the biggest item that the Lone Druid buys the whole game. So while things are looking alright for Tongfu, I still worry, even if they manage to get that Radiance out.
I agree with you. I don't think that Radiance is going to do nearly enough. The shackle shot into the creep. Zhou in trouble. There's a fight happening right now. Zhou's going to be the first to fall. A lot of damage coming from that flare, but Moo in trouble. Telekinesis back. Shockwave going. Hand of God's up. Now it's level 6. Sansheng, he's getting the frostbite off. It's a 2-for-1 trade thus far. Yim getting another kill. That's going to be on the clockwork while that all happens. Wildwing Ripper goes down. Yim trying to chase after Sansheng. So another one that's 2-for-1 in the trade of ForLove, and Zhou goes down once again. So any farm that he had, he did buy his Radiance, of course, recipe, which is huge before he died, but still he does fall.
Yeah, and ForLove probably just going to back off, wait for the Lincoln Sphere up on the Weaver. They do still definitely need to make use of this nighttime. Fan's not too far away from his BKB, but yeah, it looks like they're just going to go and farm for a little bit here. Tongfu still doing their best. I think it was an okay team fight. You know, well played by Sansheng, dropping the freezing field and picking up the kill on the Sand King, but they might need to go for a smoke gank, something like that. Moo and Kabu just need to team up and see if they can make any space.
Yeah, and this, I feel like Tongfu's Moo has been not as, you know, impactful as he should be on that clockwork. I mean, this is a top-tier pick that we're talking about that's not being used as effectively as it should. He's got 3 deaths and 2 assists, so his stat line's not the best. His item choice is fine, obviously. I mean, he's got boots, he's got a bow. He'll probably go for a bracer into a drum if necessary. Get phase boots eventually, maybe some sort of other boots. It doesn't really matter, but I feel like Moo should be the one that's kind of dictating what they do, dictating how they initiate, dictating where they initiate, with Kabu helping them out in that regard. Like you mentioned, those 2 roaming around, but they're not doing it now. It seems like they're just kind of just sitting around trying to get something done. And I think a part of it, we haven't really talked about it, is ForLove's, you know, vision and map control. Every time we've seen them gank or look for, you know, counter ganks or say, you know, they're smoking up, the wards have been there. So credit the Rubik for having such good vision across the map, I feel like.
Yeah, and it's definitely the Rubik. Stan's just been farming towards his Blink Dagger this whole time, and he's actually getting very close as he finishes off that creep camp. So, yeah, Tongfu have been playing at a massive disadvantage. We even saw them go for smokes. They attempted to try and find kills, but as you said, ForLove just spotted all of them coming, and especially that one smoke on mid, Tongfu were hoping to get 1 or 2 kills out of that. They got 3 deaths, and I think that was the moment where everything really started to fall apart for Tongfu.
Yeah, I agree. So right now, ForLove going to continue to be in the driver's seat as they have quite the lead at 10,000 gold right now and 7,500 experience. So they're looking strong. They're looking for another tier 2 tower here, and in fact, actually blinking into the tree line is Sand King with his newly acquired Blink Dagger. Epicenter still on level 1, but I don't think he cares about that. I think he just cares about getting a nice initiation off. So Sentry Ward is up for the Dire team, saying, okay, we want to have complete and utter control here, especially with a Vendetta roaming around from Kabu, but he'll sit under the tower. Vendetta's done. And it looks like they don't want to fight this. Blink gonna come in. There's the Burrow Strike. Hookshot in from Moo on. A Cogs on 2, keeping them pinned in right now. Hand of God's gonna fly. Mech as well, going for ForLove. Moo in trouble. Freezing Field's going. Time lapse out. Stan taking damage from that Freezing Field. There's the Burrow Strike in. Fans haste is up. Shackle Shot Void. The damage there. Buyback coming in from a couple of heroes. ZSMJ, the next to be chased down. And Pale up onto 2. Now still chasing. They want ZSMJ. They'll find him. Now the Hookshot, the Cogs up. Moo doing damage to him. Still 3 down on the side of Tongfu Zhou. He can't afford to die. It looks like he very well may. And Fan just trying to work on Zhou. The Void, that'll grab the kill. 4 down. Moo, maybe the 5th and final nail in the coffin, and it will be. ForLove at 18 minutes in. The underdogs take down Tongfu in game number 1 of this series.
And I think GG is right. Very nicely played by ForLove. They looked at the draft, they said, why should we give the Lone Druid any space at the start of the game? Why should we risk our offlane tier 1 and have them get anywhere? So just very well drafted, very well played by ForLove, and maybe Tongfu will be able to find their feet in game 2.
Yeah, hopefully so. Hopefully we can get it to another 3-game series here, but for now we're not quite sure. Obviously a very good start for ForLove in this first game. We will take a quick break, maybe even a smoke break for some of the team members between ForLove and Tongfu. We'll bring you game number 2 in just a moment, guys. Remember, thank you for joining us here on Beyond the Summit. Make sure you follow this channel, of course, for all of the DotA action happening all across the world. Once again, my name is Mont. With me is Basekip. If you enjoyed the action, if you enjoyed the casting, please go ahead and let us know in chat. So we'll be right back, guys. Stick around.